I seek refuge with God from Satan the outcast. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. Peace, blessings, and mercy of God be upon you, and welcome to another session in Common Sense Lessons from the Qur'an. In this lesson entitled, Curses and How We Are Affected by Them, we want to take a deeper look into curse casting, or cursing oneself or others. To understand cursing, you have to understand the purpose and power of words altogether, and spoken words in particular. We all use words to convey messages, thoughts, and feelings that are both positive and negative. As for neutral words, our belief is that they are only forms of positive or negative words, undetermined, uncategorized, or not agreed upon by one or more parties. Nowadays, one of the most common phrases used to convey neutrality is something like this:
Let's just agree to disagree.
Bravo! We have to applaud whoever came up with this saying, as it turns a lose-lose conclusion, or a disagreement, into a win-win conclusion, or an agreement, which allows both parties to save face, get on with their lives, and often get on with their friendship. Moving on. The primary purpose of words, as of their creation, was communication, or even better, communication with an intended purpose or goal to convey thoughts, opinions, feelings, and whatever else the mind held. Prior to the creation of Adam, God used words to communicate his intentions to the angels and Iblis, who is also known as Satan, as he was among those receiving God's communication. In chapter 2, the cow, verse 30, we read,
And when thy Lord said unto the angels, Lo, I am about to place a viceroy in the earth. They said, Wilt thou place therein one who will do harm therein, and will shed blood, while we hymn thy praise and sanctify thee? God said, Surely I know that, which ye know not.
The words God spoke to the angels conveyed a message of intention, which, in turn, produced a response from the angels, conveyed in the form of a question, laced with the logical reasoning of those responding. Projection, reception, response, and reaction are the basic formulas or sequence relative to words written, spoken, or signed. There are also few, if any, who would deny that words are power. And power is energy, which is in line with nothing being random or without purpose, value, or weight in God's creation. In chapter 2, the cow, verse 26, we read,
Lo, Allah disdains not to coin, the similitude even of a mosquito.
And in chapter 10, Jonah, verse 61, we read,
And not an atom's weight in the earth or in the sky escapes your Lord, nor what is less than that, or greater than that, but it is in a clear book.
Thus, God has made it clear that nothing is random or insignificant to him. Not a mosquito, or even that which is less than the weight of an atom. Now, I want you to consider your feelings when positive words are being cast at you. Words like love, beautiful, intelligent, and blessed. Next, I want you to consider your feelings when negative words are being cast at you. Words like hate, ugly, stupid, and cursed. Just as the positive words may add comfort to your feelings and state of being, negative words are inclined to add discomfort to your feelings and state of being. Any positivity or negativity felt as a result of such words would be due to wanting to be associated with the positive, and disassociated from being associated with the negative. This innate desire is as natural as it is highly spiritual. All words have purpose. They can initiate the production of both good and bad things. There are several words that are categorized as curse words, or synonymous with cursing, such as swearing, profanity, blasphemy, insult, sacrilege, desecration, affront, and impiety, to name a few. Nowadays, one of the most commonly used and cast curse words is damn. In fact, it is taken so lightly that it has virtually become a figure of speech by many, who overlook the implications of the word and the consequences associated with its use, which we will get to shortly. The word damn is used just as often to complement our expressions during pleasurable times as it is during our times of anger. The word damn is also used to give emphasis to one statement or sentence. Some examples are,
Damn it.
which literally means to curse it to hell. Another one is,
Those damn Yankees.
a curse cast at people relative to the geographic location in which they live or are from. There is the seemingly simple,
that damn so-and-so.
which is to curse a person, place, or thing. How about,
Those damn kids.
which is cursing children, maybe your own, who may be,
Getting on my damn nerves.
which is to curse every part of your own body as the nerves run throughout it. Or some might just say,
Well, I'll be damned.
which is a more direct form of the previous self-cursing. And who hasn't heard?
Damned if you do, and damned if you don't.
If that saying doesn't qualify you to be totally damned to hell, then what does? Finally, let us not forget the most common and powerful curse of them all,
God damn it.
which directly invokes God to condemn or curse someone or something to hell. Such expressions may appear to be cute, funny, or even considered synonymous with being grown or reaching adulthood. But curse words are far from all such notions. Perhaps we are overlooking the fact that God is the implementing source behind the punishment of the curse that has been cast, and thus the implementing source for the punishment of those who have been cursed. Still, that may only be if they are deserving of the curse cast at them. But what if they are not? Do you think that the curse is just neutralized? Well, you might want to think again. As believers, we should not forget that our scribe angels are writing down every word we say, and every curse we cast, regardless of whether our curse casting is due to ignorance, carelessness, or anger, to name a few reasons for the act. Nor should we forget that we are accountable for every word we say, even careless and indiscriminate cursing. In addition, English-speaking Muslims, especially ex-Christians and the people of the book, may be mindful of the fact that the word damn, when used by the church, was done so to condemn someone guilty of a grave sin against God, man, and the church, to suffer eternal punishment in hell, that is, to be forever damned with Satan or Lucifer. Also, though the average person in the USA may take the word lightly, let us not forget how distressed and offended the U.S. government, as well as many of the so-called God-fearing Christians and U.S. citizens were, by Pastor Jeremiah Wright, when in his sermon he blasted the United States of America with his controversial statement,
No, 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 not God bless America, God damn America, that's in the Bible for killing innocent people. God damn America for treating us citizens as less than human. God damn America as long as she tries to act like she is God and she is supreme.
The statement was taken very seriously and considered so offensive that the sitting president at the time, which was President Obama, who was a member of Pastor Jeremiah Wright's congregation, was forced to distance and disassociate himself from his pastor of several years. That's because the word damn is not only the exact opposite of the word bless, but it is the most extreme opposite or curse word to associate with anyone or anything, just as the word bless is the overall best word that can be associated with anyone or anything. What should also be deeply considered is that we may be negating our blessings when in one sentence we are talking about how blessed we are, and in several sentences afterward or throughout the day and our lives we are damning ourselves and everything in existence with our constant, continuous, and indiscriminate cursing. If you doubt this, just listen to yourself and others and see if we have called it right. The fact is that we are not living in a God-fearing world, and Satan made an oath when conversing with God to lead many of us to that damned place called hell, which is undoubtedly his final destination. In chapter 7, The Heights, verses 14 to 18, we read,
Iblis said, Allow me respite till the day they are raised up. Allah said, You are of those respited. Iblis said, Because you have sent me astray, surely I will sit and wait against them on your straight path. Then I will come to them from before them and behind them, from their right and from their left, and you will not find most of them as thankful ones. Allah said, Get out from this paradise, disgraced and expelled. Whoever of mankind will follow you, then surely I will fill hell with you all.
Since the fall of Satan, the jinn, Adam, Eve, and mankind, Satan's winning streak for the damnation of souls has surpassed the winning streaks for the salvation of souls by leaps and bounds. God's prophets, messengers, and holy scriptures have been no match for Satan's deception of mankind. That is not to say that Satan has, in any way, outsmarted God, which is impossible. But there can be no doubt that Satan has most definitely outsmarted the majority of the jinn and mankind, dating back to times prior to the fall of Adam and Eve. Staying on subject, which is cursing, let us consider that it is another form of destroying souls or condemning others or ourselves to death in this life and damnation in the next. What may be worst of all is that, where the word damn was originally used to condemn those considered to be evil, or participating in evil acts, today we use it without the slightest consideration on our loved ones, to include immediate members of our families. We actually call for God to inflict evil upon, or to damn, our husbands, wives, parents, children, and even ourselves. If we consider the damning sayings mentioned to be no more than harmless figures of speech, we have truly missed the mark of their intended use, as well as their effective power in destroying souls. Also, recognizing that God doesn't take cursing lightly, and answers the prayers of the believers. When we cast curses, our curses are subject to have the effect for which they were intended. Unfortunately, our curses are subject to come back upon us and our loved ones when we cast them at those undeserving of them. Or do you know anyone of discerning mind, currently living, who is undeserving of God's curses, ourselves included? We should not be self-deceived. As for the people of the book, Jews and Christians, who might watch this video, this is not a Muslim thing taken too seriously. It is a spiritual thing that is not taken seriously enough. Also, if you have Christian members in your family, you may want to warn them, as the Bible holds similar warnings. In chapter James 3:10, we read,
From the same mouth come blessing and cursing. My brothers, these things ought not to be so.
In chapter James 5:12, we read,
But above all, my brothers, do not swear, either by heaven or by earth or by any other oath. But let your yes be yes, and your no be no, so that you may not fall under condemnation.
In chapter Matthew 5:22, we read,
But I say to you that everyone who is angry with his brother will be liable to judgment. Whoever insults his brother will be liable to the council, and whoever says, You fool, will be liable to the hell of fire.
In chapter Matthew 12:34-37, we read,
You brood of vipers, how can you speak good when you are evil? For out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaks. The good person out of his good treasure brings forth good, and the evil person out of his evil treasure brings forth evil. I tell you, on the day of judgment people will give account for every careless word they speak. For by your words you will be justified, and by your words you will be condemned.
Remember, the word damn is also known as swearing. Thus calling someone a fool or stupid are also forms of cursing, so we need to recognize the seriousness of all swear words. Our brothers and sisters, what we have shared with you is not new knowledge, only knowledge neglected, overlooked, and taken for granted. It causes us to do more damage to ourselves than Satan, the jinn, and their companions among mankind could ever do to us. This goes way beyond outer destructive sources, to self-destruction. Our advice to you is this. Be mindful of curses, especially when they are being cast by others, whether they are in your presence or not, and whether you know them or not. Seek refuge with God from the curse, or cursed energy landing on you and taking effect. Remember, curses are a type of prayer, or invocation for punishment, subject to being answered by God. Also, know that God does not like cursing, whether deserved or not. You also don't want to condone cursing by agreement, laughter, or gestures, or you may become guilty of cursing by association, and subject to punishment by God. God's punishments associated with curses are horrifying, painful, and often long-suffering, like the curses of turning men to apes, deformities, leprosy, and death to name a few. And let us not overlook one of the greatest curses of all, which was the enslavement of the children of Israel. Therefore, we should guard our tongues, lest we suffer as a result of their misuse. In part 3 of our series on cursing, we will discuss some of the ways Satan and his cohorts have deceived mankind into justifying cursing to damnation. May God forgive and protect, and may the peace, blessings, and mercy of God be upon us all.